Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I am so excited today to share with you part one of a conversation that I had with a resident of the Sussex area. As we all know, Sussex is a county in southeast England. She lives in this area and she had a lot to share with me about the people that live here and gives us some really good and important, I think, insight on the area of Sussex and of course our infamous couple who are named after this county. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee and enjoy part one of our conversation. So tell me a little bit about, well, let me go back to Sussex. What's it like in Sussex? So I hear it's a county, is that correct?
Yeah,
Sussex
well, I was
county.
actually, because I haven't grown up here my whole life, I was actually from Surrey. I won't name the names, you probably won't know them, but it was not far from, say, Wimbledon, where the tennis is.
Okay.
So I grew up around there. That would be a kind of place I would hang out on the weekends, go to Wimbledon. I think I went to the tennis when I was really young, but, so basically, I think the most of Sussex population, Brighton, Worthing and Littlehampton, Hastings, Bexhill, Bognor Regis and Eastbourne. And the combined population of Sussex, this is in 2011, so I got it on Wikipedia, is 1.6 million. So it's probably more today. So sorry, I've just got to go back to, have you heard of Brighton?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Oh, Brighton is amazing. It's like where everybody wants to live, and it's really cool and multicultural. And well, most of the UK is multicultural, but I think with Brighton, it's got its own little vibe in it because it's right by the sea. It's like a seaside town, but it's really, it's just an amazing place. There's always a lot going on. So we're not far from there, so we can drive there and be there in half an hour. I've got friends who live there. So that's really Sussex, if you like.
Okay, so East and West Sussex. Okay, I see. Okay, so what are the people like? I mean, like, what's it like there? What's it like?
It's much different than any other town. I mean, people used to sort of, the thing about where I'm living, it's a little bit cheaper than, say, have you heard of Croydon?
No, I haven't. No.
Right, well, that's a little bit nearer to London, and then even where I grew up was in Surrey, Sutton, that is even nearer to London, so the house prices are more expensive, is further away, so the house prices are cheap actually. But the train line into London, you can get into London in like an hour and a half, is really quick. You can go through Gatwick. Have you heard of Gatwick Airport?
Yes, I have heard of that.
So Gatwick is like the second, so Heathrow is the big one.
Okay.
Most of the sort of transatlantic flights go out of. Gatwick is the sort of smaller one. The pandemic, because a lot of everything was from the airport, like is everything. So it's actually been really hard because the airport was so important, and it's literally shut down now. So, so the people are, they're just normal.
But the name is always in the news, right? Because of the infamous couple, right? So the people have pictures?
As you say, I very much doubt they've even been here. They might have driven through it for half an hour.
Right.
Harry, it's, to me, it's just like the rest of the UK. Not that I've actually, I couldn't, I've not been to, I have been to Liverpool and places like that, but only for fleeting visits. So to me, Sussex, it feels like London. It feels like everything else. Obviously the prices and the house prices are different. Possibly it's not as multicultural maybe as, say, Croydon. Croydon has a much more ethnic vibe, and so does more London, but London's very transient. One of the churches we used to go to was in central London, was you wouldn't get as many local people because there were just people passing through. They were like, we're on business, or so it's hard to explain. But it's, I think the thing with Harry, he's only ever really known sort of London. I don't know where he lived, if he lived in that palace. I'm not sure. And his friends were very posh, he grew up in quite well-to-do people. Then my cousin went to a really posh school in Westminster, so And he grew up with all those people. He knows like people who are politicians and things like that. And okay, they speak a bit posher than I do, but you know, they're just normal people. They still go out and do things and get drunk, and when they were, you know, younger. Harry's going on about this now. Oh, he's drug and alcohol. Most people in their 20s do that. I'm like, right. Well, I don't really get why he's making this some trauma. I'm not saying he lost his mother. Obviously, that was terrible. But lots of people have lost people and don't go around blaming everybody.
Right. It's almost like they're trying to dredge up controversy to be relevant.
Exactly. And to me, it's so alien of what Diana represented. But actually, I don't know if you've noticed this. Now I look back, because when Diana died, I was 16. And I did have her in that kind of angelic kind of, oh, Diana, you know, like everyone did. But now I look back, I do see her flaws, as everybody has flaws. I have flaws, we all have flaws. But I do see her flaws and actually how vulnerable she was. And she kind of got sucked into sort of celebrity world. And if you think about it, like Harry's now gone beyond what she was getting, because she was hanging around with quite a few famous people and stuff like that. Probably because she'd gone from the royals. So these people she thought were safe. But they wanted to take advantage of her. I'm not saying all of them did. I mean, some of them were probably friends. But now I feel like he's fell into like an even bigger trap of that. And they're taking advantage of him because of who his mother was.
Exactly.
Rather than listening to his family that have cared for him his whole life and have his best interest at heart.
Right. So he's listening to his wife and what she's pulling him into. And now he's going to get sucked into this whole Hollywood thing. And it's going to, in a way, happen to him what happened to his mother. But he's not really trying to be cautious about it in the right way. I think he's looking at it from, well, his family are the bad guys because look at what happened to his mother.
Like this comment about
falling into a trap.
It's like this comment about his mother, him living in a zoo, the Truman Show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I think it was way less of a Truman Show than you're going to be jumping into right now.
Exactly. And this is all his wife's doing. She is the one that is pulling the strings and making him see these similarities, because they could easily just go off and be alone in a quiet life.
And they were in England. That's the thing. When do you see many pictures of Catherine and that? They're very protective. The British press are very, you very rarely see photos of them now. You did when Catherine was very early on, but they don't do that now because of the Diana thing. And they've got a kind of a what do you call a sort of an agreement.
Right.
So he had a very private life until now, ironically.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody's calling the pap or paps on him or whatever.
So it's like they're playing this game, and I think most people are not going to see the game that they're playing because there's clear motives and objectives behind everything that they're doing now, and
I think some of it is rubbishing the royal family because they didn't get what they wanted.
Yes.
They're throwing their toys at the pram, and actually that's never a good way to get what you want. But actually throwing mud at other people never makes you look good.
Right.
It always comes back on yourself. So
yeah. So
and actually, what kind of people are following them? You know, are they really great people? Probably not.
Who are these people? These sugars and things like the women or whoever it is that's because they can't hardly write.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to see what they're writing and I just can't even understand it half the time.
I know, it's sad. I think they've brought into something. And also, I think we probably have to realise that they're probably very young. You know, we've all been stupid in our...
Exactly. Yeah. But are they... I mean, where are they from?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't really know much about them. I don't think they have that many fans, as far as I'm aware. I don't know anyone.
I don't know. It's just very strange. It really, really is. It'd be interesting if you went around and asked people in Sussex, like, what do you think about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex?
Well, I'm probably a little bit more... I do look at celebrity culture. That's probably one of my downfalls because I probably have grown up in that world where you know, if you think about from when did I leave school, 1996 to sort of 2000, I grew up with the Spice Girls and all that kind of thing. So celebrity culture has just been such a big thing, probably in both of our countries. So it is, and it is a bit like the Big Brother syndrome, because Big Brother was. Did you have that in your country?
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was a big thing here, and everybody used. It's almost like watching a human zoo, isn't it?
Right.
Like, what are they going to do next? So maybe there is a little bit of. Maybe they know that. Maybe they're playing into that. I don't know, but maybe their PR's playing into that. But the thing I don't understand is what is the Queen's lost her husband, what was it, like 3 weeks ago? He's now bad-mouthing her parenting skills. I mean, who does that?
It is so bizarre. It is like, will they see this? The people that are supporters of them, will they see the undermining that they're doing to their loved ones? I have no idea.
Unless he's got some, I think he's got some issues. I mean, obviously we've all got issues, but I mean, really, like, this is not the way to go about it. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the same person anymore. It's like he's in some sort of brainwashed trance. I don't know.
Well, hasn't his approval ratings dropped over in the UK? Like, people are not.
From what I've heard, I mean, people don't really care for him anymore. He used to be one of the most loved royals, and they have good PR, the royals, and they're very good at sweeping up people's messes, probably because they're very aware that he was young, and actually we all make mistakes. My husband's made enough. We shouldn't all be, we're all on a sort of journey, aren't we? But I think they're probably even scratching their heads, like thinking, hang on, we swept up after you, and now you're just literally throwing your whole family to the wolves whilst preaching we want privacy, but then breaching your family's privacy and your brother's privacy. And this whole genetic pain thing, or what was it? Genetic pain? They were talking about.
What was it?
Oh, he said something in this podcast. I didn't watch it all. I just saw snippets.
I listened to some of it. Yeah, not all of it. But he said something about
pain. So pain passed down from families. Well, that's just life. I mean.
Oh, I see. So like he's trying to
pass through your genetics.
Yeah.
But don't we all have that?
Exactly. But what does he want to get out of this? Like, what is the end goal?
I mean, what am I going to sit here and berate my parents? My parents have probably made a lot of mistakes, but they were on their journey and they were learning. They were doing the best they could with what they had, the money they had, the parenting they had. But so why then?
Right.
Just like you say, I don't see what he's getting out, apart from money, possibly, and he doesn't have a lot to talk about because he's got nothing else really to sell, has he?
He doesn't. And it's interesting. So someone wrote something on, who was it? I think it was Murky Meg. Someone wrote this, and I thought it was so good because essentially what he is doing is selling his relationship with his mom.
Yes. He's selling his soul as well. He's actually selling his soul.
He's selling his soul, exactly. Yeah. So they said you don't have to be a loudmouth, loose cannon like Meghan either. In fact, most good people in the world are hidden heroes who don't want fame, fortune, or even recognition.
Exactly.
They just want to make a difference because they are genuinely good-hearted, and these are the people who do make a real difference. They are not the Meghan Markles of the world. Wake up, Harry. I think what he is doing is something he is going to regret.
Yeah, definitely.
He is not clearly in his right mind right now. No. I think his wife has sold him a bag of goods about what they should be doing. And this really is not going to end well for him. Because he and his son will be the victim and their future child.
That's another confusing thing, isn't it? You're going on about genetic pain and but what about your son and what about your nieces and nephews?
Right.
He doesn't seem to be thinking about any of that. Their futures. Right. It's like I don't know obviously we don't know what the conversations were, what he wants, what he didn't get, but it feels like he is literally having a massive tantrum and throwing his toys out the pram because he didn't get what he wanted, so he's just going to destroy everybody.
For everybody.
And everybody else's future. And he knows full well that the royals are, you know, don't explain, don't complain. And it's not that they don't talk about mental health. I mean, I think I might have sent you that video. Somebody else posted it about them talking about it in the Guardian. You know, Kate, William, they've talked about these things.
Talked about it, yeah.
But they don't then go stick the knife in. It's not classy. It's not clever. And it's,
well, isn't it exactly what she's done to her family and to the other
pattern?
People? Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It's sad that
she needs some mental health. I really do think she needs some desperate mental health. And
she really does.
And it feels like this whole Oprah thing, and I've completely gone off Oprah. I was always a fan of her. I don't know what's happened to her. I'm not saying some of the stuff she doesn't do is good, because I've watched a lot of her, you know, those soul things. But that interview was shocking.
It was.
I don't know what she's thinking. Money, whatever, but really she's just lost all credibility for me, that she would stoop that low when she wouldn't think, okay, this is a family. And as I've heard, she did that with the Jacksons. I don't know enough about that whole thing, but
yeah, she did do that with the Jacksons.
So I'm really, she's kind of, her mask has slipped for me, because a lot of the stuff she does I think is good, but this, I'm like, what are you doing?
What's the point? Do you think she's trying to get in with the royals, though? Like she's trying.
Well, this is in a good way. I mean, she's now got in with non-royals or ex-royals, or whatever you want to call it. But you think at her, this is where I'm confused with Oprah, because I always thought that she had had like a spiritual epiphany and a spiritual awakening. And when you start to realise that actually all this stuff is nonsense, celebrity, royal, blah, blah, you then go on another level. And I thought she had reached that level, that she would actually look at these people and think they're just human, you know. Royal family is just human. The Queen just was born into that, and actually I don't think, and I don't mean this to sound, I hope you don't take this patronising, but I don't really think Americans get the point of the royal family.
Well, that's the thing, and there are some that do, but the majority I don't think do. I don't think they understand the depths of the organization, the firm, how it works. They know pictures.
Yeah, see, I think that was the problem with Meghan. I think she said it in the interview. I didn't watch the whole interview, I couldn't bear it. But I've heard snippets of talking about being a princess wasn't all it was, crap, you know, all that kind of thing. And then she talks about mermaids, and I'm thinking, this woman has some sort of like childhood image of princesses and fairy tales and castles, and she came in with that, and it wasn't that. But it was never meant to be. It's just a sort of I don't know what the right word is, but the idea is that they are meant to be leaders and good leaders. They're still human. They're not going to be perfect. Obviously, Charles has made a mess of things, and I think they realised with the whole Diana thing, and they made a complete hash of that. But they, you know, this is going through the generations. So, and obviously the Queen in her years has evolved and had her, you know, she's head of the church, so she's got quite a spiritual principle. They're aware that they're leaders, but they're not perfect, you know. We, the taxpayer, pay for them, and they go around cutting ribbons. So most of their job is not that glamorous. And I think Meghan really, till she got into it and saw it, she was a bit like, oh, this isn't very glamorous. There are glamorous parts to it, obviously, but I think like Kate did, she did her years, and they have to trust you.
Yes.
These people are government. They look after our shores. They're part of you know, we've got a lot of security in our country. We've got to be very careful of, same as you know, your country. You've got to be careful of people who come in, and she wasn't willing to do the time.
Right. She didn't want to do that. She
wanted the crown. She wanted to be given the jewels and go to all these things, but she wasn't willing to do the work. So it's like, you don't go to a job, do you, and go, oh, well, I just want that, you know, I want that CEO position, but I'm not willing to do anything. I I mean, it's like she lives in a parallel universe or something.
Exactly. She does not live in reality.
Yeah.
So how does that work with taxes?
Her color. It's just they saw what she was acting like. They were watching her.
Yeah.
They were probably monitoring her phone calls. You know. Yeah, she's got Sunshine Sacks on speed dial, and he's doing all these Netflix deals, which we found out was happening probably when she was in the royal family. So they were like, we don't trust this girl.
Exactly. They knew what was going on. They knew. They were listening in. They were following her. They knew her from the very beginning.
But they give her the benefit of doubt because they knew nobody's perfect. They're not, they're going to give people the benefit of the doubt, and they're not going to judge people on their color or their background, because they know people come from terrible backgrounds. I mean, look at Philip's mother. She had a breakdown.
True.
And she's
really that was true. But I wanted to ask you, how does that work with taxes? Like, how do you pay, or how much do you pay in taxes for the royal family? Is there like a line item?
No, it's not on there. It doesn't say this is for the royal family. No,
it doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't. So obviously your taxes go to the National Health Service, which is amazing. Royal family. I mean, obviously all their palaces and stuff, I don't know how that works. That's obviously a state thing. I wouldn't even think that the Queen actually owns it as such. It's probably for the country. I mean, I don't know. Lady C would know more of that than me.
Oh, okay, but so they do take out, so the money that they have, it comes from the citizens, and they pay money into the state, and then that money is given to the royal families to live off of.
I guess so. So they would probably get like an allowance, and part of being royal is that you get a nice place to live in. I wouldn't think they're massively fancy, even though, obviously Buckingham Palace looks amazing. I mean, how is she going to live in that? So most of the time, I think she lived in Balmoral in Scotland, because she loved being in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's away from London, all the hustle and bustle, the pollution.
Right.
I don't want to live in that old building.
Yeah.
All the time. People peering through the gates. They're normal people. So I think they realise they just have a role to play. They're like this sort of image, if you like.
Yeah.
They get a nice place to live. They probably get a certain amount of allowances, as Meghan did for all her dresses and her outfits, and she got, she spent quite a bit on that. And then obviously they get to go to all these things. They might open things, and a lot of the stuff you see Catherine do it. It's probably quite dull, but I think if you've got a heart for that stuff and you want to help people, I think that all they are is just figureheads, and they realise that they're actually, it's a nice life. They get to do some things that people would never do, and that's what really galls me about it, is that there are so many women in the UK of all colours that would have loved that position,
right?
And would have done it with absolute, but I think because of maybe a Hollywood head, and maybe because she was always striving for that, I don't know, whatever her dream was,
right? When
she got into the royal family, she still had that attitude.
Yeah.
And because obviously she then realized, oh, Kate, well, I don't know, I'm not in the woman's head. I can't. This is how it looks from the outside, that maybe she wasn't going to be top dog,
Right.
But I think top dog is not an easy position, and I don't think top dog is being as glamorous as it is, because it comes with such a responsibility.
Exactly. Well, what about the other UK celebrities that know about the royals, like the Beckhams? Do you think that they kind of are on to Meghan and what she's doing?
Yeah, I wonder if they will. Well, a lot of people seem to have withdrawn from them, don't they? I think people have a lot of respect for William, I think, and know the position that, as I say, especially the UK celebrities, they know what the royal family represents, what it's about. So, I mean, obviously we saw the James Corden thing, because he lives in the States now. Mm-hmm. He's a TV show at the end of the day. He's about ratings, and Harry possibly is his mate. I mean, did he go to the wedding? I'm not sure, but
he did. He did. I didn't know he was married too. He went with his wife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So obviously all these people cross paths, I think, but I think they would just keep stum probably. And just think might just not. Obviously Oprah and that other woman Gail, they're backing that horse, if you like.
Yeah.
There's going to be some documentary of Obama talking about the Queen or something.
Well, I heard that Harry and Meghan are doing a documentary about the royals. Like, I think that just came out today.
Honestly.
Just unbelievable.
He's got no self-awareness, and I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, hypocrite Harry is the best name for him, really, isn't
it? Hypocrite Harry. You got that right, because he does not seem to know no bounds, and it's shameful that his wife has got him so wrapped around her finger that she can cause him to do whatever she wants, and he'll do it.
To me, that's not somebody who loves you. I'm not saying I can't say she doesn't love. I mean, maybe I still think this all goes back to her mental health. I think whatever issue she's got, she thinks this is okay, but this is actually not okay. This is really abusive
well, didn't you hear about what came out, that she said that she was looking for a very wealthy British guy?
Oh yeah.
So it
probably is true. I mean, from the people that have said it, I don't think they're just going to make that stuff up. I mean,
right.
And this is a woman. This was something I did want to touch on. The 17 lies that we've now debunked. Now, the race thing, if you're going to bring that up, say the name. Don't just throw that out there like some sort of grenade.
Right.
That's a big kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but if you're not going to be honest and say who it is, and obviously we know Lady C's stance on that, which is probably true, because I'm thinking, surely if you've got that, then say it, and you still haven't said it. So...
Yeah, they still haven't said it, but I think that it was being alluded that it was Charles.
Oh, I thought it was Anne. Oh,
that's what Lady C said.
Oh,
but
right.
I heard just today, actually, they were saying that it seemed like they were alluding that it was Charles who actually said it. Now, Anne said something different.
About the culture thing, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. About American culture, yeah. So I think that he is trying to continue to throw, I'm checking my emails now to see that story, that it was Charles, that he was, at least this is what they were saying. That.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because I think, we've come so far in sort of race relations. I don't know about your country, but I feel in ours a little bit. Obviously, people are people, and I just think racism exists through all
well,
I don't know, say nationalities, people, people of all colours, and this kind of just putting it onto, and yes, our forefathers or ancestors did terrible things, but are we just going to keep blaming the current, how do we move from this? And I don't obviously know what went on in that conversation, but I have heard conversations with friends I had that are mixed race, married a white person, black person married a white person, both, wonder what colour, they're going to be, wonder what colour the eyes are going to be. Will they be a bit darker than us? Will they be a bit lighter?
Right,
Will they have curly hair? Will they have brown eyes? I don't think that's necessarily always from a horrible place.
No, I don't think so at all. And I think
obviously we don't know the conversation. So
they were trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. They were trying to make something out of it. And there clearly was nothing there, but if anything, just ignorance in how maybe they said it.
Exactly.
Or how they took it. They just wanted it to be a big deal, because unless you're coming out and saying something like the N word, or you're coming out and being very blatant about it.
Exactly. And they would have said that if they had that in their pocket. If they had that ammunition, they would have gone, well, so-and-so said this.
Right, yeah. They didn't have that. They had this ambiguity around something that was said, and they wanted it to be a big deal.
Just throw it out there. And that was where the Oprah went, oh, what?
Right.
And that was it. I felt, are you acting, Oprah? It's really bad.
And that's the thing, what you said about Oprah, I thought she was evolved a lot more beyond this. I thought she was a lot more intuitive about people because at this point she clearly has got an agenda that she is trying to cultivate.
What is her agenda? Because it's not money.
Yes, well, no, I think it's just to continue her celebrity, because
or is she stirring the pot for another reason? Is she trying to create race relations where, you know, I know your country still has, you know, a big issue with that. And is she stirring the pot? Is there bigger reason behind this that we don't know? It's not helpful. I mean, how is that helpful to the next generation? How is that helpful?